Hey guys, Wet Movie 1 back here again for another Blu-ray DVD update video for you guys today. It's been about 2 weeks or so since my last one. Got a nice little stack of stuff here to talk to you guys about today. But before I get to the first one, please give this video a thumbs up if you guys support my videos. I really would appreciate it. The first one up from Warner Brothers is Into the Storm here on Blu-ray. This is a movie about a couple of storm chasers that are about to lose their funding. You know, they pretty much lose their jobs. But they have one last chance to try to capture a couple of tornadoes on film before they lose their jobs, and it's them trying to find it, and then all these tornadoes start happening and things like that. It kind of sort of feels like Sharknado a little bit, you know what I mean? And sort of like Sharknado meets Twister, if you remember the movie Twister with Helen Hunt from the mid-90s and things, which I really like a lot. I like it a lot more than this one. This one is just pretty much updated effects and stuff like that. But there's a couple of other little storylines in the movie about like these two young kids going to high school for their graduation, and their the interaction with their father, and they don't really get along with them that much, and they get stuck in the storm and the storm chasers, and it's just a whole mix of characters that really doesn't really matter. You're just pretty much watching the movie for the cool special effects and the tornadoes that are going around ripping things up. There was only one really complaint I had about this movie, was the comic relief that they had in here. They had like these two like hillbilly guys, like going around, I'm gonna capture some storms on my camera, like crazy stuff like that really kind of took me out of the movie. I knew what they were trying to go for, but it just didn't really work for me. It looks fantastic here on Blu-ray with the cool tornado effects and the cool special effects and stuff, but it is pure mindless entertainment. That's what I liked about it. It didn't take itself too seriously or anything like that. But on this Blu-ray here, you get the standard special features, like them talking about the special effects and the making of the film and stuff like that. But if you guys are into like movies like Twister and Sharknado, and you guys will get a kick out of this one. It's pure fun. That's all.
Hi, it's me again. I'm back just real quick with one movie for this week that I really liked, and that movie is The 100-Foot Journey. It stars Helen Mirren, Puri, Manish, Dayal, and Charlotte LeBron. And you're all going, heard of Helen Mirren, but the others? But I'll have you know, I believe they are very well-known East Indian actors. And basically what the movie is about is that Helen Mirren runs a one-star Michelin restaurant, and the East Indian family moves across the street and opens an East Indian restaurant, and it's basically about the difficulties and the problems and everything between the two, a little bit about race, that type of thing. But since the movie is about restaurants, it's mainly about food. Oh God. I don't know about you, but certain food, and I know this is how they were kind of explaining it in the movie, brings back memories of different parts of your life or different places you've been, and you long for that taste. I know from a real quick example from my life, when I was living in San Diego in Pacific Beach, there was a place called Future Foods, and they served like soy tacos. Oh God. I must have been there like once a week, twice a week, because it was so good. And then years later, after my life went on and I went back to San Diego, tried to find the restaurant. It wasn't there. And it's a taste you miss. You think about it every once in a while, and it's a taste you miss. And that's basically kind of like how the movie is. It talks about the flavor of things, and it brings back memories. And oh gosh, I don't know. I know to you guys, you're probably going, oh yeah, boring. But let your mom and dad know, they might like it. Thanks for stopping by.
Alright, next up from Lionsgate is the Madea's Christmas here on Blu-ray. I always like the Tyler Perry movies, especially the ones with Madea in it. And in this one, Madea is working at a department store for the holidays just to make some extra cash, until she finds out one of her friends is going to be going down to Alabama or like the country area to visit her daughter for the holidays for like a surprise. And she just goes along for the ride. But the thing is, Madea's the lady's mom doesn't know this. Her daughter has gotten secretly married to this white guy, and she really has a kind of a problem with white people, sort of. And it's them dealing with the problem going down to Alabama, and Madea just being her crazy self. And I gotta say, I always liked the Madea character in the movies and the plays that Tyler Perry's produced and put out. But this is definitely not one of the stronger Tyler Perry movies. I always liked what's it called? Why Did I Get Married? And what's it called? Madea Goes to Jail, and like all some of those other ones. This is definitely not the worst one either. But this one also stars Najimy, who you guys all know from like Hocus Pocus and stuff like that, and Larry the Cable Guy. And when Larry the Cable Guy and Najimy and Tyler Perry are all on screen together, like ad-libbing and just messing around, those were probably the funniest parts in this movie. You know what I mean? Because they're all kind of crazy, and when Tyler Perry makes his movies, he lets the actors ad-lib and just make things up on the spot. And that's what I like about his movies, because they just seem so free-flowing. Like they just sort of have a basic storyline and just like make stuff up as they go. You know what I mean? And I kind of like that. And you get a making of on here, which is like 10-15 minutes long. Just them talking about the making of the film. Tyler Perry's and Madea's Christmas here on Blu-ray. I enjoy those movies for what they are. But this next one right here, I'm very excited to talk about, because I really liked the first one. Can't really remember the second one very much. I think Van Damme might have been the bad guy in the second one, from what I remember. And this one right here is The Expendables 3 on Blu-ray, starring a slew of action stars. You get Schwarzenegger, Harrison Ford, Stallone, Jet Li, which Jet Li's only in the movie for like 3 minutes. Like, he only has like 3 minutes of screen time, which is kind of like, oh, come on, really? You get Jet Li in a movie and you only get him for like 3 minutes? All right. But in this movie, Stallone, his name is Barney. He's kind of let his old crew go. He said, okay, guys, I don't really need you anymore. We're done with this Expendables thing. And because in their last mission, Stallone finds out that one of his old rivals is still alive and committing all this crime. And Stallone wants to start a new team, start a new, young, fresh team. And that's what this movie is him, recruiting new people to take down Mel Gibson, the bad guy of the film. And that's pretty much the synopsis of this film. There's not a whole bunch of, story going on in this one. Pretty much a lot of one-liners and just stuff blowing up. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I liked about this movie. You don't go into it, taking it too seriously or anything like that. I'm sure Stallone and the other filmmakers, that's what they weren't going for either, I believe. But I really did like it. You get Schwarzenegger in there for a few moments, and he's like, in the movie, he says it like 2 or 3 times. Get to the chopper! Like 80s throwback lines and things. And that's just pretty much what these movies are. Like, you get like a nice little nostalgic kick when you watch these old, 80s action stars, 80s, 90s, 2000s action stars like Jason Statham, just messing around and having a good time, But on this Blu-ray here, you get the theatrical version and the unrated version of the film on here. You also get an hour-long documentary, well, it's like 53 minutes, on the making of the film, which I thought was kind of cool, because I wasn't really expecting an hour-long, making of on this thing. That's the Expendables here, Expendables 3 on Blu-ray. But this next one right here, and it's called Speak No Evil here on DVD. It's about this family, mom, boyfriend, and the daughter. And when the mom wakes up one day to find out her daughter's missing and doesn't know where she's at, and the mom's going kind of crazy and trying to figure out where her daughter's been, going down to the police station, going to the church, going to her friend's house, trying to find her daughter because she's nowhere to be found. And then later on that day, come to find out, all the children in this small country town have all disappeared, and no one knows where all the kids have went. But then the next day, all the kids show back up again, but they're all not quite the same. And the parents and the people in the town are trying to figure out what's wrong with their kids. That's pretty much a synopsis of this movie. I thought it was kind of cool, very atmospheric, the way they shot it, and just the whole way the vibe went of this movie is really kind of creepy. It wasn't amazing, like the last half of the movie when they were trying to explain certain things. It kind of went nowhere to me. It was just kind of like, oh, all right then. But just it was only like 74 minutes long. It went kind of quickly. It's not horrible. It's not horrible whatsoever. But that's Speak No Evil here on DVD. Yeah, if you guys are into indie horror flicks, I would give it your support, rental or something like that. But these next two right here, I know some of you guys are gonna laugh at me right now, but like I just wanted to see these and check these out because you guys all know I'm going through this weight loss right now, and I'm like, hey, maybe if I watch these, it might help me, do some things I haven't done before, and that is all right, fine. Here, the official workout videos of Triple H and Stephanie McMahon here on DVD. And then in each DVD here, like this one, Stephanie takes you on like an hour-long workout and shows you how to do certain cardio, works on your back muscles, front muscles, upper body, lower body. The same thing with Triple H, but it's with the Triple H one, it's a little different because he works with weights and does a whole bunch of a whole bunch of other like manly things. And some of this Triple H one, I don't know if I can really mess with the weights that much. I know a lot of you guys say, Brendan, you should work with weights more. But like, I don't know. I just have to check these out, and I'll pop them in and just like try to do a couple of things that these guys do in these in these DVDs here, because the last workout video I got a long time ago that I remember was like sweating to the oldies, like the old Richard Simmons like DVDs or VHSs or whatever they were back then. And in each of these, they talk about always having at least one rest day a week. You know what I mean? You do your workouts every day, but then like always on like one day a week, you got to have a rest day. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. But if you guys don't know, they have exercise videos now. I thought they were okay. All right, guys, and next up from Vinegar Syndrome is Christmas Evil here on Blu-ray, presented in a beautiful 4K transfer from the 35 millimeter negative of the film. If you guys don't know what a Christmas Evil is, it's pretty much about this guy named Harry. When he was a child on Christmas, he witnessed something very horrendous, to a child that has to do with Santa Claus. But now he's an older guy. He's kind of traumatized, kind of crazy, he's kind of out of his mind. But he works at a toy factory, managing, these guys on the line, making toys and things. But, around the holiday season, he makes a good and naughty list of all the people that he knows, the children in the neighborhood, the people that work with him. And, just this one Christmas, he kind of goes out of his mind completely, dresses like Santa Claus, and wants to take people out one by one that's on his naughty list. That's pretty much the synopsis of the film. I always really liked it. It's a little bit of a slow burn, kind of horror film. Like a lot of the kills and things don't happen till later on in the movie. But this movie is kind of just like, the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies and stuff like that about a killer Santa Claus or a guy dressed up as Santa Claus taking people out. But this one just, has a different kind of, feel to it. And in the set here, you get a Blu-ray and a DVD. The DVD has the older special features that I believe were on the Synapse DVD that came out years ago, like a John Waters commentary. You guys all know John Waters from Pecker and all the Divine movies from back in the day. This is one of his favorite, Christmas movies ever, and he just talks about the film and why he likes it and stuff like that. You also get a commentary track by the filmmaker, interviews, in here, a theatrical trailer, and a handful of other special features. And I say the transfer on this was pretty damn good, especially from the original DVD that I saw of the movie. This Vinegar Syndrome really went back and really cleaned it up very nicely. But if you guys are a fan of the film and you guys want to know what the transfer looks like, very, very surprising. If you guys are a fan, you guys might want to get up on this Blu-ray right here. Alright, next up over here from Anchor Bay is The Giver here on Blu-ray. I know this is based on a book that a lot of people have read in like elementary school, but I was in special ed my whole life, so I never read the book. I read books like, The Little Engine That Could and, crazy stuff like that. But so I didn't even know what I was getting into going into this one. I just knew a lot of people said it was a really good, book to movie adaptation, and I just wanted to give it a shot. And plus, the dude's in it, man. The dude from The Big Lebowski, Jeff Bridges is up in here. So I'm like, I'm gonna give this one a chance. And this movie takes place a little bit into the future, in this one small community where everyone sees in black and white only. They don't see in color. They're kind of told, what to do, where to go, until this one kid named Jonas is given this opportunity to meet this one guy that can, that knows what happened in the past, because in this community no one has any recollection of what happened in the past, like any wars, any suffering, any happiness, nothing, because everyone in this town is just kind of like one note kind of people, you know what I mean? Like they're just kind of like drones, kind of, until Jonas gets chosen to meet this one guy, played by Jeff Bridges. He's also known as the Giver, and this guy knows what happened in the past. He knows about different wars. He knows about all this craziness that happened. And Jonas, like I said, gets chosen and meets him. And when Jeff Bridges touches him, he can feel and see things that he's never seen before. He can see in color now. He can feel pain. He can feel sadness. And it's pretty much Jonas trying to figure out what he's going to do, with all these feelings that he has, and how he might want to change his community's, way of thinking. And I really did enjoy this movie. Meryl Streep did a very good job in this film. This movie has a little bit of a vibe, kind of like the movie Pleasantville, a little bit like just the way things are being, the way they talk, and the way it's in black and white for most of the movie. I really did dig it. And like I said, I never read the book, so I can't, compare the two. But I really got a lot of enjoyment out of this one. It was a very well-made movie, very original in my opinion. Something that was fresh. That's The Giver here on Blu-ray. It looks fantastic. I really, really enjoyed this one, guys. And next up over here is a movie called Free Fall here on Blu-ray. It's about this powerful attorney, like a powerful businesswoman that works for this a big corporation, until this one day she finds out that someone in this corporation is embezzling all this money, and she's like, oh Jesus, is this why my previous boss jumped off the top of the building to his death, because he just couldn't, keep this stuff a secret. So she finds out what's going on, and then these other people find out that she knows who's embezzling all this money, and decide to try to take her out. So she's in this building and gets trapped in this elevator while this one crazy killer, played by B.D. Sweeney, is trying to take her out, trying to kill her any way he can, and she's just trying to stay alive in this whole movie. It was a pretty fun thriller suspense kind of flick. One of those ones you only really need to watch once. But the cool thing is about this movie, it says it's directed by Malika Akkad, and that is the son of Mustafa Akkad, the guy that made or produced the Halloween movies. So it's kind of cool that his son now is making and producing and directing flicks, But this movie was just pretty decent for what it was. Not completely horrible. It's cool for a one-time watch. But that's Free Fall here on Blu-ray. Alright guys, next up from Paramount is a classic holiday film I used to love watching with my family back in the day. Haven't watched it in years, and that is Irving Berlin's White Christmas here on Blu-ray. Irving Berlin also made the movie called Holiday Inn that came out a few years before this one. But this movie is about these two friends that are singers that meet each other during this big war, because they're soldiers, and then after this war they go on to be, a big, great, famous duet team, until they meet these beautiful young women and, strike up this relationship with them and go on this vacation. And they go to this, cabin / hotel, and, for this vacation. They find out that the old sergeant that they used to, serve in the army with is the owner of this hotel, and he's having a really hard time. He's about to lose the hotel that he worked so hard to build, and it's pretty much him and his friend trying to, bring people to the hotel to try to save it and things. That's pretty much the synopsis of the movie. I always really liked it. It's one of those ones you watch, like everything's going to happen, everything's going to be all nice and good by the end of the movie kind of thing. It's just a really touching flick. I really like the song and dance routines that they have in here. Very, very, very memorable stuff to me. But on this Blu-ray set here, you get 4 discs. You get a Blu-ray disc, a DVD disc, and a special features disc, and a bonus CD soundtrack on here with a whole bunch of Christmas songs. It's just very, very entertaining, and the picture quality on this Blu-ray here is absolutely amazing. I've never seen the movie look any better on this Diamond Anniversary Edition. But if you're a fan of White Christmas, just want to let you guys all know it's out on Blu-ray now. And maybe make sure you get the one with the soundtrack. It's cool with nice little Christmas songs. And next up over here from Comedy Central is Gabriel Iglesias' Stand-Up Revolution Season 3 here on DVD. I always like Gabriel Iglesias, the fluffy movie that just came out and all his other stand-up. And I always liked him I remember watching him on, what was it called, All That, like the later seasons of All That. He was one of the cast members on there. And this is just a show that he comes out and introduces the different comedians that come on, like 2 comedians each episode, and it's just a bunch of stand-up. And you also get like little bonus cartoons called, what's it called? Hey, It's Fluffy, the animated little shorts that he has in each episode. You get all the Hey, It's Fluffy animated shorts on this DVD, even ones that didn't air on television. And you get, of course, extended and additional stand-up routines by people that didn't appear on the show, which I thought was really kind of cool. Like Lunel, she's a really funny comic and stuff like that. But if you're a fan of Gabriel Iglesias and just stand-up comedy in general, give this one a chance. It's kind of sort of like, what's it called, like the Def Comedy Jam, but not as cool. You know what I mean? It's kind of sort of like that kind of vibe. Alright guys, next up from Magnolia is Frontera here on Blu-ray, starring Eva Longoria, Ed Harris, and Michael Pena. And in this film, Michael Pena plays this guy named Miguel. He's a loving father, devoted husband, and he wants the best for his family, yet he lives in Mexico, and he decides to cross the border into Arizona to try to make a better life for his family. But in the meantime, as he's trying to cross this border, he witnesses a murder, and people are blaming him for the murder that he witnessed, that he has nothing to do with. And it's him being locked up trying to tell people that it's not him. He didn't do it. He's not involved, in this. And it's just pretty much him trying to deal with his problem. And that's pretty much the synopsis of this movie without giving anything else away. And I thought this movie was very original, very engrossing. I really got into the characters, really got into the story of this one. Ed Harris plays this former police chief, and his wife is the one that got murdered. And he doesn't know who did it. He thinks it might be this guy. It could be any. He doesn't really know, but he wants the truth and he wants answers. It was just very entertaining. If you guys want something original and engaging, give this one a chance, guys. It's very, 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 very cool. But that's Frontera here on Blu-ray. And this next one right here is a movie, is a play that I believe is being turned into a movie soon. And this is the original Broadway production of Into the Woods here. And this one stars Bernadette Peters. This was filmed and performed back in the early 90s or 1990, I believe. And it's a story about these 2 bakers that can't have children. They're barren until this witch comes into their bakery one day and says, "Hey, I will grant you a child if you do this thing for me." And the stuff they have to do is go into the woods and bring her a cape red as blood, a cow white as milk, and like a handful of other things. And it's the bakers going, "Okay, we'll do this for you," and them going in the woods to try to get these items. And the items they have to get, like the cape red as blood, is Little Red Riding Hood's cape, like the slipper that Cinderella has. You know what I mean? It's like a multi fairy tale story, and I kind of dug it because you get, like I said, you get Little Red Riding Hood, Cinderella in there, and like a handful of other fairy tale things. And you guys all know me. I love plays because that's how I started off my little how I started acting and stuff. And one of my very first plays I did was called A Christmas Carol or Scrooge or whatever back in the early 80s in Pasadena at this old theater, and I played one of these little characters, and I always loved being on stage and in plays. Even in elementary school and high school I was in plays. It was just always very fun, and seeing it on film on here on stage, it was actually very entertaining. The Blu-ray doesn't look fantastic or anything because I believe they shot it on videotape back in the day, but it is the best you're ever going to get this one to look. But if you're a fan of stage plays, I would definitely check out Into the Woods here on Blu-ray. Alright guys, and last up for my update today is Beneath the Harvest Sky here from Cinedigm. This movie is pretty much about these 2 friends that live in this really small town, kind of there's not really nothing to do kind of town. The the hangout is like hanging out at like the gas station kind of place, and it's about these two friends that live in this town, and they desperately want to make as much money as they can so they can buy a car and get the hell out of this, get the hell out of Dodge, and this movie is pretty much them doing so. One of them works at the cornfields, harvesting corn or potatoes or something like that. And the other one gets mixed up into drugs because he thinks he can make money faster that way, and getting involved with drug dealers. And it's them trying to deal with, the friction between them and the drug dealers and stuff like that. That's pretty much the synopsis of this movie. I like the acting, the atmosphere, and the whole look and feel of the film. But it's also one of those ones I was watching after I was done going, this is another one I don't think I ever really see myself needing to watch again. You know what I mean? It was cool to watch once, but it's just like a lot of movies these days don't have a lot of high rewatch value to them. You know what I mean? It's just really kind of sad. Like back in the day, like in the 80s or whatever, 80s, 90s, like The Goonies. I love that movie. Watch it all the time. Breakfast Club, love it. Watch it all the time. Look Who's Talking, watch it all the time. Like old school. Is it just me? Or is it movies of just today, of this kind of generation? It's just doesn't have a whole lot of rewatch value to them. But the thing is, guys, it wasn't horrible. It was just kind of like, eh. But that's Beneath the Harvest Sky here on Blu-ray. Sounds interesting to you? Give it a chance. Alright guys, that's all I have to talk to you guys about today for this Blu-ray DVD update video. Please give this video a thumbs up if you guys like my videos, and I'll see you guys next time.